Welcome to the Indie Corner, where we talk about all things independent comics, specifically the greatest superhero comic in the universe, Robert Kirkman's Invincible. I'm Mikey.
Oh,
I'm Demoan.
I'm Christian.
And today's episode 3, and we're going to be talking about two miniseries and two one-shots involving characters from the Invincible universe. So we're still doing side stuff right now. Capes, which is written by Robert Kirkman with art by Mark Englert, and Brit, as well as Brit Cold Death, also written by Robert Kirkman and art by Tony Moore. So before we begin, obviously, it's been a while since didn't stutter.
I'm so proud.
Thanks, man.
No rehearsing, no nothing. In your first intro too. I'm so proud.
I told you. I just have to I'll get into it.
Yeah.
So before we begin, obviously these are we're in first Invincible episode in a while in the new year, 2020.
Yeah. And
That's right.
Remember,
we didn't lie to you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll give Christian his. We'll call Christian's bluff. He called it. He said it was. He said we were gonna start till next year, and he was right.
Yep.
It's kind of hilarious how it took quarantine for us to do this again. Which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. So obviously we're in midst of a very crazy ass pandemic. Obviously we have more on our hands because we're doing online classes and stuff. But most importantly, we hope that everyone who's watching this either live or later on or rewatching when it's uploaded, that you're staying safe. Obviously social distancing, washing your hands, sanitize your hands often, staying at home. Also just overall just being responsible so that we don't spread this.
Care of yourself.
Exactly.
Don't lick toilets.
Yeah. And obviously
don't lick anything.
And obviously
lick some things.
Okay.
But not everything.
And obviously a great thanks to the healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, whatever.
Frontline. They're the real heroes.
They're the real heroes.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be talking about issue 1 of Capes. So last episode, when we did Adam Eve and S.H.I.E.L.D, there is and I forgot which issue of Adam Eve it was, but I think it was when she was about to fight her twisted test tube siblings.
Second one.
It was second one? Okay, gotcha.
I think so.
There was another superhero that was there who was supposed to be on the scene, but then Adam Eve was like, nope, screw you, this is my business. And this character was a character that's introduced and explained more in this series named Bolt, who works for Capes Incorporated, which is essentially The Office meets superheroes, and it's great.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I only read the first issue of Capes, so I'm going to phone it in heavy.
Yeah, he was big dumb. He didn't realize that.
Yeah, he didn't realize that there was 3 issues of this.
Yeah. When I saw it, I just read it. Yeah, so I'm just going to phone it in. Please don't call me out. I'm going to refer to people by the obvious features. For example, Big Titty and the black superhero.
Knockout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll he'll do his interjections when the story keeps moving. But so the first issue, I just want to take note of like the cover at least because the cover is really funny and essentially just Bolt sitting on a bench, watching the clock with a character that will be introduced fighting a previous Invincible character that was in the main 8 issues of Invincible, Titan, the rock dude that remember that Invincible disfigured. So the story starts with Bolt on call, actually no, on his way to work, facing a villain known as the Medallion, who's essentially the Mandarin. I don't know.
It's more like the Mandarin beats Doctor Strange. It seems like.
Yeah, basically. So.
All right. So since I read it,
and
it's just for the people who are watching. How exactly is he the Mandarin?
Because he focuses his powers on jewelry. Because the Mandarin has the rings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
So the Medallion, not the Mandarin, is
Does he have 5 medallions?
He only has 1. He's not like 5 medallions, not like fucking 2 chains or some shit. But
okay.
but essentially, Bold is on his way to work, eating his usual usual three scoop, triple scoop
looks like
ice cream cone.
strawberry.
Yeah, it's like I think it's strawberry. I thought it was Neapolitan, but like it's not.
Oh, you might be right, but it looks like strawberry. I don't know.
Yeah, it's having his morning 3 scoop strawberry ice cream on the way to work.
In a cone.
Like a real one. And
like a real man.
That's right.
Only real men have cones. But he comes across the medallion. He essentially gives the nearby cop his ice cream cone and foils this man. And the medallion's like, "You can't stop the medallion." Huh, can I? And then he just simply rips the medallion off, and he's powerless.
Yeah, because he made it very obvious what his power source was by naming it after himself, or naming himself after it.
Exactly.
Should have put it underneath his shirt.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's another thing he could have done. Not show the medallion.
Or, not tell your weakness to people.
Exactly.
Honestly, he really set himself up for failure.
Yeah, this is actually a cry for help. He wanted to get stopped.
Yeah. He just comes out of nowhere and is like, punish me, and just wants to. But so the medallion's foiled. The cop wants to give his ice cream cone back, which is clearly melted at this point, and he's like, "You know what? Just keep it."
That's my favorite part, though. That the cop's still holding the ice cream as it's dripping down his hands. He's not making any move to clean it or anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
just a wonderful
when a superhero says hold an ice cream cone, you hold
an ice cream cone.
Yeah, makes sense.
Patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
But to continue, we get a transition shot of the actual Capes Incorporated building. And obviously, since this is an office work environment, because essentially being a hero in this universe, if you're under Capes Incorporated, you're on the clock and you get paid. So Bolt clocks in, and he is met with his supervisor, which is a man by the name of Commander Capitalism, who basically looks like J. Jonah Jameson, but with a star-spangled outfit.
It's pretty accurate.
That's a pretty good description.
Yeah. So he clocks in.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He's his personnel manager.
Mm-hmm.
Is Commander Capitalism. So he clocks in and is like, "You're late." He's like, "Yeah, sorry, I just brought one in on the way to work, the medallion." And he's like, "Yeah, you're about to miss you're supposed to do an orientation for a new recruit." And so he's supposed to meet at his office to meet this new recruit. And this new recruit is a cool character that shows up in the Invincible universe as well in like some events by the name of Kid Thor, who is essentially Justin Bieber with a huge hammer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So then they get acquainted, they shake hands. He essentially does the orientation and gives them the tour of the facility. And so once that starts, we get a transition to the CEO of Capes Incorporated by the name of Big Brain, who isn't Charles Xavier.
But his brain is very big, though.
His brain is very big. And
honestly, looking at him, I think his head is the size of the rest of his body.
Kind of looks like
bigger,
a testicle. Like he looks like a testicle head.
Just a single one?
Yeah, just one.
Yes, because it just has little strangles of hair coming
out.
Yeah.
And for a little info on Big Brain, he founded the Capes Incorporated with 2 other characters that will be introduced later on. And
those 2 characters are known as the Comet Twins, by the way.
Yeah, the Comet Twins, Ed and Marshall. Mm-hmm. And he has, I think, telekinetic and telepathic powers, or at least he used to. His power waned away over time.
Yeah.
So he's essentially powerless and is just the CEO of this company. And he's in a business meeting right now talking about the lack of funding about business, being a businessman, because he's a businessman.
That's right.
Yeah, being a businessman doing a businessman because he's a businessman. And essentially they're talking about how they're running extremely low on funding, so they're trying to maybe sort of organize a campaign that will boost the company's public reputation so that they can get that funding. And I'm assuming that they're funded by the federal government, but
partially probably.
Yeah, partially by probably obviously the Invincible universe by the Department of Defense. So then, yes. So then, Big Brain has this meeting, and then it cuts back to Commander Capitalism in his office, and he hears a woman suddenly cry for help, and he's like, it cuts him being like, "Holy shit!" And turns out there's a man on fire,
Mm-hmm.
and
And he shouldn't be on fire.
he shouldn't
Because he
be on
should
fire.
be dead.
Yeah.
Right.
And turns out this man, once Commander Capitalism realizes who he is a man, an old superhero by the name of Captain Cosmic, who should be dead because he's been legally dead for years.
15. More
15.
than.
More than 15.
That's more than
Mhm.
14.
Yeah. So then it cuts back to Bolt and Kid Thor still on the orientation tour, and they essentially meets up. He sees the training and exercise room where we get introduced to another character, which will also you'll see in the Invincible universe in the main story by the name of Knockout, who is essentially I don't even know how to have a comparison for this person like the other one.
To big titties. Her personality trait is big titties.
Yes.
Her likes, dislikes.
Think of
big
yeah.
titties.
Think of a supermodel with huge I keep forgetting that meme, but like the meme where they like make ridiculous gibberish for boobs.
Honkers. Or Zumbas.
Jumbo
Bawooga
wumbas.
gawaga boos.
Jumbo baloos.
Gaglus.
With a pair of boxing gloves, punching at the
Which also have boobs.
No, they don't have boobs.
And they have boobs.
They're
normal. They're not normal boxing.
They're not
gloves.
normal boxing gloves, which will be explained later in the series.
Right.
And she's pulling away the punching bag, and then once he is essentially Bolt tells him who this person is, Kid Thor immediately leaves, saying that he is intrigued. So a little foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm.
And it cuts to and then it transitions to a mysterious man in a warehouse. And all he does is apparently he has this gambit power where he blows something up with his hand. We don't really see his face. He's mostly obscured with some shadows and stuff. And then he basically says, "Soon, Bolt. Soon."
Mm-hmm.
And will this man be revealed?
We'll
Who
see
knows?
in time.
I sure don't know.
He doesn't know. Then it cuts to essentially Kid Thor explaining his origin story, and it's probably the coolest origin ever explained because it's so funny and it's so cool. So essentially, he got his hammer. His many great grandfather essentially was a Nordic Viking blacksmith who made the best weapons ever, and he was recognized by the gods. So Odin was like, "I see you, bro. You see you putting in that work." And then out of nowhere, Thor lost Mjolnir. He lost Mjolnir.
Not Mjolnir.
Not Mjolnir.
No. He's nothing without Mjolnir.
He's nothing without Mjolnir. So then he lost Mjolnir in a battle. So then his Kid Thor's ancestor essentially was tasked by Odin to make a brand new hammer for him, and he did, and it was better than ever before.
Mjolnir.
That's not true.
It
was not better. It was almost as good as the original.
It was almost as good as the original. But anyway, so Thor used it in many battles, and then, hey, guess what? Sorry, but I found Mjolnir. Here's your hammer back. But so essentially, Thor gives his hammer back, and essentially imbues. I think I don't know if it was Odin or Thor who gave him this gift as essentially as payment, but he essentially
Thor gave him the hammer back.
Yeah, Thor gave him the hammer back, and then essentially as payment for his services, he basically just puts some of his powers into the hammer and only allows essentially like and part of his ancestors, Kid Thor's ancestors' soul, so that only people in his bloodline can use the full power of this hammer, and it gets passed down from generation to generation, and which we'll see later on. His father as well as his grandfather were donned the title of Thorman.
Mm-hmm.
And And then it cuts them obviously in the car. Kid Thor's telling the story, and Bolt's like, that was a really cool backstory. Like, it doesn't compare to mine. I essentially got struck by a bolt of lightning, and then I'm super strong. But it's like, where'd you get the name Bolt? He's like, obviously, because they got the name Bolt because advertising and reputation thought it was like, black people with electric powers obviously have electric names, or that involve electricity. She's like, I was gonna call myself, Black Lightning or Static Shock, but like those are taken obviously.
Also, Storm was another runner-up.
And also Storm was a runner-up as well. So then I just stuck with, and then also he said I originally want to call myself Black Samson, but that was already taken due to a nod of the Guardians of the Galaxy Globe member or former Globe member that was in the first episode that we talked about in the introduction. So that's a quick little nod to see that the universe is connected. And he's like, hey, but then Kid Thor's like, but what about Blade? Yeah, Blade, the movie didn't come out yet, so I couldn't use that name either. And this is so funny. And then while they're driving, a man just freaking slams out of nowhere, is thrown into their windscreen, and the car stops. And turns out this will be a character that will be revealed in the next episode when we get back to the main story. He's a man by the name of Machine Head, who's a gangster in the Invincible universe, and the man who threw him, yet again, was Titan, which is the character who's essentially the Thing, kind of
Big rock boy.
Big rock boy that Invincible disfigured in episode 1 that we met. So essentially, Bolt and Kid Thor intervene. They're fighting, and then they manage to subdue Machine Head, and then Kid Thor essentially takes a huge swing, and it smacks right into Titan's chest. And obviously, Titan's obviously not a rock person; it's just an exoskeleton, so his skin's exposed, and he knocks him the hell out. So Kid Thor already made a good impression.
Mm-hmm. He really did a good job, didn't he?
So then
So proud.
it transitions to Big Brain giving. Yeah, so proud. Bolt was like, "I see you, bro. Whooping,
you see me, I see you.
Taking names.
All right, word. Bet. No doubt. Okay.
Yes, same, but different.
Get back into it.
Get back into it. Yeah. So essentially, it cuts to Big Brain explaining how Captain Cosmic disappeared. So essentially, there was a villain named Chronodile who was an anthropomorphic crocodile that can control time and space. Essentially, it was a huge,
as you do.
Yeah, as you do, and he was a huge powerhouse. And him and Captain Cosmic had a huge fight, like a grandiose battle. And they both, Captain Cosmic and Chronodile, essentially went into the time stream, never to be seen again. And Captain Cosmic suddenly appears now in the present day. He went many years later, and he was renounced dead by his wife. So then, essentially, Kid Thor and Bolt come back to Capes Incorporated headquarters. Obviously, bringing in Machine Head and Titan, putting him in the prison, and then essentially, Commander Capitalism gives him a good job, and then essentially I think they clock out. I believe they clock out for the day, and the night shift guys take over. Yeah, and the night shift guys clock in, and then it cuts to a robust woman who works for the company.
Her name is
does not believe in bras.
Her name is Clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant. So I'm just guessing that her name's actually Claire and it's just a name thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess too.
Yeah. So essentially, she goes up to what she said before, the Comet twins, Ed and Marshall, and it's like, hey guys, my husband's not gonna be home tonight, so y'all wanna
run a train on me?
He's like, you guys wanna come over? And she was pointing at she was looking at Edward. What, I don't remember which one it was, Edward or Marshall. She was looking at one of them.
Right, the other ugly one.
That one was Ed. That was Ed. Okay, so she's looking at Ed, and she Ed's just like, sorry, I can't, because obviously this is how they get this power explanation. If the Comet twins are too far away, 20 feet away from each other, they just start
30 feet, it says.
30? Okay, 30 feet away from each other, powers will essentially deplete and they will be permanently depowered. and so they're always together at all
not
times.
permanently. It's. I thought it was they would only get their
I thought it
powers
was
back out within 30 feet of each other.
okay. I assumed
Because
it was permanent.
they ran. They when. Oh, you know what? It'll be explained next issue, so we'll just wait for that.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, so me and him have to stay 20 feet from with distance of each other at all times, and she's just like, I was talking to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Clairvoyant is
She's
gonna
a
get
smart.
it wants a damn threesome essentially.
Mm-hmm. She's
And then
wild.
this will be a running joke throughout the whole series.
I mean,
She likes what she likes.
if for whatever reason you're gonna miss her, don't worry, she returns.
She returns. I don't know if she's in the other in like the main story or not, but it's maybe we'll find out.
When we get there.
We'll see when we get there. So then it cuts to two security guards in the I forgot the name of the prison, but essentially the main prison where the supervillains are being kept. So when Capes Incorporated captures a villain, they get sent there. And they're watching over this dude who we don't get the name of, but he's Aki as hell. He's hella brolic. And next thing you know, he gets agitated and essentially breaks down his sordell, and all you hear is
his cell door.
His cell door. His door cell. And essentially all you hear is the security guards go, "Run! Get the fuck out of there!" And essentially,
can I just interrupt and describe his body a little bit more? Because it really hit me. He's an upside down Dorito chip. Like he's got these tiny little nubbly legs, upside down Dorito body. Like if you look at it, he has like grooves, like Cool Ranch specifically, a Cool Ranch Dorito chip.
No, I would think he was like a nacho cheese.
Nacho.
I think it was a nacho cheese.
Yeah, I'll meet you in the middle, but definitely not. I don't think it's nacho cheese. In all honesty, all right, but continue, please.
No, continue your point, bro. Dorito, he's a Dorito.
Bro, he's not nacho cheese. He's
okay,
definitely
fine.
Cool Ranch.
He's Cool Ranch.
Yeah,
because Cool Ranch is the villainous kind.
Yeah, sure.
That's an opinion to have.
Yeah. I have actual facts, but that's fine. Sure, you're ridiculous.
And then it cuts back to the Capes Incorporated office, and also note to the viewers, every time they cut back to the office, it's just these two, it's like the same panel with like these two random superheroes. It's like a rotation of them having a conversation on the water cooler.
One of them kind of looks like Batman. The other one kind of looks like Blade. Yeah. But, off-brand, great value.
Yeah, well, off-brand Blade is we'll call him Scalpel.
Scalpel. Like that. No, box cutter.
No, butter knife.
We're so why are we laughing? Butter knife.
Oh, just imagine like he's the killer members like, I'm butter knife. I'm gonna kill every motherfucking vampire.
It's butter knife.
Okay, then what do you want to call off-brand Batman then?
It's no, off-brand Batman. That's exactly what we're calling it. Because there's already Darkwing. So
right.
Demoan brought it up. I kind of feel like we could do better. We're fucking man bats off the table.
Yeah, that's already. You know what? We'll come back to it.
We'll reveal our final thoughts on the end of the book.
Yeah.
What do you think off-brand Batman's name should be? Put that down in the comments.
Got it. So I actually want to read what they're saying because I think it's hilarious. So like it's like Big Brain's letting me pull some double shifts to pay for my boys' college. I'm beat. And then Scalpel or aka Butter Knife says, I'll keep that in mind if we see some action tonight. So it's just casual conversation, which I think is great. It like adds to the humor of the office setting.
Mm-hmm.
So then
meanwhile, Big Brain's having an aneurysm.
Yeah, he's just like
why is it that every brain-based power, the person using it always looks like they're having a hernia, like they're just like passing a kidney stone or something? So it's just like
listen. Big brain people have big brain problems.
Listen, Christian, he was having a power thought.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, it seems like he's getting some of his powers back, or
I don't know.
maybe they were never gone.
Oh, never gone, you say?
What?
But like after he has his power thought.
Maybe I know about that if I read the other two comics.
Yeah. So
But continue, Mikey, please.
After Big Brain's power thought, it cuts to Commander Capitalism and Bolt at Bolt's house. Essentially he invited Bolt invited Commander Capitalism for dinner. And they're having meatloaf because it's Meatloaf Day.
I love Meatloaf Day.
Yeah, everyone loves meatloaf.
Because J. Jonah Jameson's Captain America loves his meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Mm-hmm.
It's so.
I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
So then, they're being the patriarchs and watching TV, and Bolt's wife calls him to do the dishes, and we get the funniest thing.
It's you wouldn't expect, like, I don't know, any comic person to be like, oh, this is an okay thing for my superhero character to say.
But I think I think Robert Kirkman did it to like essentially make fun of how Americans typically are. Essentially, he's like
a sense of irony about it.
Yeah, he's like an exaggerated patriotic superhero. And essentially, after hearing the comment about Bolt's wife trying to get Bolt to do the dishes, he says, "I'm coming, honey." And Commander Capitalism says, "How dare you? Where the fuck are your balls, man? If this was my house, I would let the wife do the dishes. That's what they're meant to do while I sit down, working, putting food on the table for her to even cook in the first place."
Mm-hmm. And of course, Bolt, like a decent human being, is hey, yo, it's hard to be your friend right now. And I'm offended by what you just said. And I'm not even the one you were coming for.
And literally, like, his wife literally comes out of the kitchen and is about to fucking tell this dude all.
No, it's not even that. It's because the next thing he says when Bolt retaliates is, "You're a slave in your own house."
Yes. Whoo!
And like, the audacity of this man is
So then
unparalleled, truly.
It's crazy. So then once his wife hears that comment, God,
you can imagine she's not happy.
Yeah, because they're black, so they're African American. So once his wife's about to tell him off hearing that comment, Commander Capitalism conveniently is like, "Hold up, wait." And then it cuts to a news broadcast saying that every supervillain in the prison facility has escaped.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just like, and it ends with a great comment, and it's just like Bolt's like, "Oh man, looks like it's a job for the night shift people."
Mm-hmm. Because he's off duty.
He's off duty.
He is not an actual superhero. This is an office job for him.
Yes.
And so ends the comic.
So much better.
Yeah. So ends issue 1.
So ends all according to Christian. So ends all of Capes.
All of Capes.
Yes. And now we enter this new phase of whoever gives a shit. Because apparently I sure don't. Enlighten me on my ignorance, you guys. Please, Demoan. Tell me what I missed.
There's actually another 2 issues, believe it or not, Christian.
Whoa.
Right?
Bull fucking shit. Where's the proof? If I haven't read it, it doesn't exist.
I don't think that's quite true, but I can't prove you wrong.
The Constitution? Never heard of it.
I can.
The Bible? Oh, can you?
Yeah, because I'm looking at 2 issues right now.
But he didn't just pull him out of his ass, Christian.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can, and I'll be very impressed by it. But you know what? I'll give you the benefit of a doubt. Let's see what you got, Demoan.
Yeah, but anyway, on to issue 2, also written by Kirkman, art by Englert.
Yeah.
Hope I pronounced that right. But anyway, where the cover is this huge purple dude attacking Bolt, and you see Kid Thor in the background yelling, "Yo, stop! His shift is over." And I think that's a wonderful cover.
Oh God, so great.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we open the comic with Bolt, his family. They're preparing in the morning for breakfast, and there's like, "Hey, you look great this morning. The daughter lost her flannel. The son's kind of razzing her about it. Everything just a normal family." And you see Bolt come in full costume, give his wife a kiss goodbye, head out the door. When he closes his car door on himself, part of his cape is actually just left out, and it's just in the door, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, he pulls up to his favorite ice cream stand to get his 3 scoops.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm. He obviously wants to inquire about how this man's life is being treated. They have a short conversation. He goes to work after that. See you around, just small talk. But anyway, he goes to work, and then he realizes, oh no, I closed my cape in the door. As something this has happened relatively frequently.
This happens
apparently.
more than once.
Yeah. But anyway, we come back, and it's the purple guy from the cover jumping at Bolt, ready to attack.
Yes.
And then right after that, we get what seems to be a familiar face from the first issue. It's the guy with the Gambit powers, and he's sitting on the roof saying, "Hey, I'm going to make you pay for what you did to my father." And then a bird watcher comes, and he has to lie to her saying he's watching birds. And she says, "Oh, I'm here too." And then his powers go off. He lands on top of her, and it looks like they're going to hit it off, I think.
Yeah, he just says, "So what's your name?" And we just
and then that's the end of that scene.
God, the sexual tension. Jesus.
Honestly,
I know, right?
Man, doesn't bird watching always draw a couple together?
Just fuck already.
I'm sorry.
That's how I met my 4th and 18th wives.
The weirdest thing is you only had 2 wives. I don't know how you skipped from 1st to 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Listen, I just number them weird.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, next we get to
Actually, wait,
finally get to the background of the Comet Twins. Yes.
But do you put when you have your 18 wives, do you put like shirts where the numbers are?
First of all, it's not all at the same time. I'm just not responsible.
But do they have number designations on their shirts, like how Mark Grayson has numbers for his ages?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say I actually delineate them by shapes. That's exactly. I just wanted to specify not body shape. It's like polygons. Yeah. Like squares, rhombus, trapezoids, that kind of thing.
This fucking octagon again. God. Always, man. Am I right, fellers? Man.
But anyway, now we go on to the Comet Twins, and they start regaling us with their tales of how they founded the company with Big Brain.
Big Brain.
Heroes. They were apparently rivals. They got hit by a meteor, and everyone except for them died. The only survivors were in the area were them, and basically not only them, but like everyone like a 20 or so mile radius died within the year of radiation poisoning.
Yes. And
so of course they did testing and stuff on them, and they found out that they had to stay within 30 feet of each other or they would lose their powers. But it's not a permanent loss, it's just they start to lose them.
And they have the typical like flight super strength.
Yeah, it's just basic super. Like when you think of a stereotype for a superhero, this is them.
Yeah.
Their only gimmick is they have to be close to each other. But anyway, they met Big Brain, and they're only telling us this because they're being interviewed by a reporter, and they say, "Hey, we don't really like each other that much, but we are responsible, and if we broke up and we wanted to live our normal lives, the world would lose 2 great heroes, so we just can't do that." And they also enjoy the job, so like it's good for them.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, when you say great heroes, are they really that good of a hero?
They had a lot of tales. Well, they were heroes during I'm gonna say
I think World War II.
World War II,
yes.
probably.
Yeah, World War
World
II.
War
Definitely World War II. But anyway, so like they had those powers. So like people with
They're-
powers during World War II would have been a big asset. So they definitely have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm assuming like
they've
they're at
done.
least like renowned and like well respected in the superhero community, but like
Yeah.
they're essentially old timers because they've been around for so long.
Oh,
Right.
so they're useless now.
Nah, I would
A
say
little.
Okay. Cool.
But anyway, basically they're doing this interview because they want to stay in the public face or public eye because they don't want to lose funding. They have to keep up with PR basically.
Mhm.
So they don't want it. They want to stay relevant, and they have this conversation. Then they cut back to Commander Capitalism talking to Captain Cosmic, and he's explaining to him how, like, hey, you're just kind of shit out of luck. We can't give you money for what happened to you because they go through it. There's a bunch of policies where he wants dimensional displacement so he can collect some money.
Yeah.
But since he was just thrown forward through time, it's apparently closer in their eyes to a resurrection because he wasn't actually working the whole time. He was just thrown forward from one instant to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, we can't pay you for just coming back alive. That'd be like paying somebody for sleeping. So Captain Cosmic, obviously, not taking this very well.
And also, his wife, who is married to at the time, legally declared him dead, so she took all of his money.
Which, in fairness, was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is that she started her own life. Again, nothing against her, right thing to do in her case. But that kind of screwed him over when he came back. So now he has no cash. He has to fend for himself, and he's not happy about it. But as he's leaving the office, we see Bolt drags in the purple guy he was fighting, and it's like, hey, I caught him on the way to work. One of the dudes from the jailbreak. So here he is. And they just leave him on the floor to leave someone to collect him, which I think is hilarious.
I think we should give this guy a name too. We're going to call him Purple Flirp.
I was so happy you said that.
I told you
what I was about to suggest.
Purple Flirp? Is that Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah.
That's so much better than Great Babe. God damn
it. They leave Purple Flirp on the floor. and then we cut to Big Brain running down everybody what's happening, being like, hey, watch out for Chronodial. Hey, people on the night shift and the day shift are going to come in because we got to clean up the jailbreak ASAP. And it's like going through like their itinerary basically, and it's like, hey, we need to be very careful. We need to handle this quickly. We need to handle it well because we're under a microscope right now. We need everyone to see that we're doing our jobs and that we're not like a waste of money. And he goes through all of that, and he's like, hey, dismissed. And he sends everyone on their way to do their jobs. As they're leaving the meeting, Bolt walks up to Kid Thor, and he's like, hey, I see you got paired up with Knockout, who, if you remember, is the girl with the massive bazongas who was boxing in the gym.
Bahuga Gobblegoose.
Yeah, apparently Commander Capitalism pulled some strings. So, but anyway, they found out that one of their one of the escaped inmates, they found out where he is. Apparently, he went to visit this woman named Holly Winters, and I'm sorry, the villain's name is Doc Cancer.
Cancer.
Yep, Doc Cancer. But anyway, they head out. They try to go find it, and they run out. But anyway, we cut and we see these two kids, and they're like sneaking into and out of places, and they find the big guy who I guess you could say orchestrated the jailbreak. I assume he just broke himself out and then just broke everyone else out. But we actually don't know how it exactly went down. But we did see him escape at least. But anyway, he's just sitting there. The kids walk up to him, notice him, run away terrified. But they leave him there, and the guy doesn't chase them, so the kids are safe. After that, we cut back to Thor Man, And
Kid Thor.
I was right. So I was right.
Yeah, Kid Thor.
Why did I think it was Thor Man?
I still prefer Justin Bieber with a hammer.
Justin Bieber with a hammer.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Kid Thor. So I was right the first time. And Knockout. They're walking around the city, and this robot man comes up, and he starts to attack them.
The robot man. That's not robot.
Mm-hmm. And after that, we immediately cut back to Bolt and Commander Capitalism. They came to find Doc Cancer resting on Holly's lap, who was his old wife. She had an experiment on her that made her immortal and permanently young. And they were in love, Doc Cancer and her. But eventually, she didn't age and he did. So people are like, hey, is that your daughter? And he's like, no, that's my wife. And he's not happy about it. So he tries to recreate the experiment on himself, and he fucks himself up.
Yeah.
He made himself crazy, so he'll attack any man who looks at Holly out of jealousy. He looks so ugly now.
Yeah, he's literally like, he looks even worse than Big Brain's testicle head.
Let's see if we could try to describe him.
This is what I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine the Thing, but instead of raw, it's flesh. Same texture, everything but flesh.
All right, let me try. Who's that guy with the Red Riot from My Hero Academia?
Okay, yeah.
Imagine him fully, with his quirk out, and half of his face is covered with putty, like the pink putty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then make him bald.
Yeah, basically what we're
make him look a little bit like a
It's
testicle.
not pretty at all.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, Bolt sees these two guys looking at Holly, and lo and behold, his instinct is to attack him.
Yeah.
And apparently this has been a problem for so long, he's serving multiple life sentences for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he hits Bolt, jumps out the window with him, lands on the ground, and lucky them, they run into Kid Thor and Knockout. And Bolt, with some quick thinking, says, hey, Vault, now that we're going to send this dude back to jail, and then you're going to spend the rest of your life with Holly. Obviously, Vault doesn't know Holly or this man.
Yeah.
But Doc Cancer's not smart. So he attacks Vault, and they basically beat each other.
Yeah, they don't even have to do any work.
Yeah,
They just stand there.
It's 4 superheroes watching these two guys go at it. And of course, I mean, the superheroes technically win, but they just really didn't do anything. They let the villains take care of it. But basically, after that, they're like, hey, we'll send somebody to pick these up. We should go out look for more villains. But Kid Thor is like, hey, do you want to go out with me? He says to Knockout, by the way.
He shoots his shot.
Out. Yeah, and Knockout says, yeah, sure. She just got to run home and clean up. That's it.
Yeah, because she's like dirty.
Thank you, Mikey.
Okay, instead of dirty, let's say sweaty.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Finding a villain.
God, can you imagine having like fake boobs over your real boobs and all that sweat?
The thing is, like, her
Gross.
costume's essentially just like some gym shorts and like a t-shirt. So
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a very warm outfit, we'll say.
I do not envy. But continue, please.
But after they say, hey, but after that they cut back to the scene of capes, and then they zoom in, obviously, and it's clairvoyant, and now she's going after Captain Cosmic.
Still without a bra.
Mm-hmm. Captain Cosmic accepts her offer, asks her name, and then she just says it doesn't matter. Doesn't answer.
That's not something you want a girl to hear.
That's not really something you want to hear from anyone, honestly.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the end of issue 2.
She don't play. She don't play.
Yeah.
But that's the end of issue 2. Yes.
That was a fantastic comic that you just made up on the spot.
On the spot. Pulled it right out of my ass. Thank you.
So impressive. You're welcome. Yeah. Bet you can't do it again.
Yeah. Oof. Want to see me try?
Challenge?
Should we? Or should we talk about that imaginary comic first?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I say we. But anyway, issue 3.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we'll just do it all at the end. I say.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, but issue 3, the cover is I'm sorry, still written by Kirkman, art still by Englert.
Yeah.
And the cover is the Nazi villain with a Nazi symbol on his chest, just kind of beating up a bunch of superheroes. And you see that Bolt's on the ground and he's lying there and he's like, well, I guess I'm going to get disability. Disability, here I come. Is his exact quote. So he's ready to collect disability from getting his ass whooped.
I just love how like typical office stuff applies to this book.
It's great.
Like insurance policies and just like benefits.
They had to handle PR.
Yeah,
like, which is insane. But obviously the comic opens. But now back to the comic. It opens up and it's dinner between Kid Thor and Knockout. They're eating at this place called the Burgundy Loaf. And we're looking at Knockout, and listen, she's missing her honkers.
Yeah, her bazungas are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Her gabagahoos.
That's right. And but they're having dinner conversation. And she's like, wow, I can't believe I'm having dinner with Kid Thor. Excuse me. And it's like, are you related to Thorman? It's like, yeah, he's my grandfather. And she asks, have you ever heard of the boxer? And of course, her grandfather had mentioned him. Kid Thor's granddaughter had mentioned him a couple times. And so Knockout's like, do you know how he died? And it's like, well, my grandfather was a security guard at a bank in New York. The original boxer, who was a villain, tried to rob it.
Mm-hmm.
Thorman came and, listen. So how the boxer's powers work is he has 2 boxing gloves, and they apparently give him super strength and a degree of invulnerability. If even one of those gloves is off, the field is broken and he loses his powers.
Yeah.
So one of his gloves falls off. Thorman runs the hammer through his chest on accident. Well, it was on purpose, but he didn't mean to actually.
Yeah, he didn't mean to.
Accidentally murders him.
Yeah. The murder was accidental.
He murdered him a little bit too hard.
Yes.
I hate when that happens.
Anyway, Knockout's grandfather, Thorman left before the cop showed up, and Knockout's grandfather stole the gloves because, like, hey, I can sell these, but he decided at first he was going to be a hero. He decided it wasn't cut out for him, and he was going to go back to his plan to sell them because money was tough, but he just couldn't do it because after he was a hero, he was too close. Mm-hmm. But anyway, about a year later or so, years later, not about a year, his granddaughter found them, and she took up the mantle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, I just want to just imagine Thorman being a glorious hero, just murder this man, and he's just looking up and down, and just
oopsie. Whoops, my bad.
That would be the worst thing ever. To be fighting someone, you whack them in the face a bunch of times, and they're fine, but then you just run, their glove falls off, run a hammer through their chest.
Yeah.
That'd be
honestly, it's more their fault than yours at that point. They should have just been more responsible. Yeah, exactly. It's not my fault that your gloves fell off.
Exactly.
And also, I find it hilarious that we mentioned that Knockout's boobs are gone, but we didn't say how they go, the reason why.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're getting to right now.
Yeah.
No, I think we mentioned that they were fake before.
We did, but we didn't mention why.
Oh,
so
there's
the
more.
Reason why? Yeah. So the reason why they're fake.
Her boobs.
Yes. Continue. Believe it or not. So her PR manager suggested, "Hey, you're going to do better as a hero in the public eye with bigger
Zumbas.
With Zwangas.
Yeah.
And she's like,
I guess I'll do that. But anyway, Kid Thor's like, I gotta ask about this because they're just gone. And he's right up hey, I don't really care that much, but I gotta ask because it's me showing up without an arm. When you saw me with an arm before, and that equation, not 1-to-1, obviously, but
it'd be more like 2 arms per boob.
That see exactly. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, he's like, hey, it's good, it's all good. I just wanted to ask. And she's like, well, thank God you don't actually care because I was starting to like you. And after that, it kind of cuts away from dinner, and all of a sudden, we're back to Holly and Commander Capitalism. Now, Holly's not taking Doc Cancer being put away very well. And you know what? Commander Capitalism, being the classic guy he is, moves in on this grieving woman.
God,
Such an asshole.
what a character.
He's such a dick.
Oh,
Yeah.
female. I'm going to take you to my kitchen.
Yeah.
Make you clean
I'll show
my
you what
house.
patriotism really looks like.
And just forces her to do like work in his home. That's it. Nothing sexual at all.
You know what's patriotic? Cooking for me like the real woman you are.
Stop.
Please stop.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
That's basically what he's doing.
I mean, almost definitely, but gosh. But anyway, but now we cut back to the bird watching couple. Now, I don't know how long it's been, but it can't be any more than a week or two. And they're at dinner, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, they're falling in love. And like, he already says, will you marry me? And she says yes.
Yeah.
And they've known each other for guaranteed less than a month.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy's he's put Revenge Against Bolt on the back burner for now, which very healthy. I'm proud of him.
Because his mutual love for bird watching found him to his companion. So
yeah,
it's all about birds, man. It's
all
a
about
natural
birds.
aphrodisiac. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
But after she says yes, we cut to Captain Cosmic and Clairvoyant. They're in bed. They're just talking.
I'm assuming.
Post-coitus, yes, definitely.
Post-coitus. Okay.
But her husband has come home. Obviously, Captain Cosmic is like, he's back. What are we gonna do? He's panicking.
Yeah.
But he comes and he's like, hey, yeah, he's like so cool with it. So apparently this is an arrangement they have. And he's like, well, hey, I know you're here, but like scooch over. I need to sleep for the night. And like he takes it so well, so it has to be before the arrangement.
And that's how I met my best friend.
And like I love how
it's just like meeting your best friend. Like this guy comes in, fucks your wife, and it's just like, hey, can you scoot over? I gotta go to bed. You just hang out afterwards.
And like literally like while like Captain Cosmic's asleep, like they just high five him and his wife.
Hey, good job, bro. Thanks, bro.
So he's like, good job, honey. You grabbed a nice one.
Teamwork. Wow.
But anyway, after that, we cut back and we get the Nazi villain again, jacked. But this time, he's waking up and he's moving and he's on the move. So he's on the move, but we cut to Bolt. He gets his ice cream cone, or he makes it.
Question: was that guy Cool Ranch Doritos?
Yeah, Cool Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch Doritos.
Thank you. Continue.
Cool Ranch Nazi Doritos.
Oh. Wait, hold up. You just said he had a swastika on his chest. That doesn't mean he's a Nazi.
No,
right? Let's not jump to conclusions.
No, but he was a Nazi. We'll see that later in this.
I mean, it is tilted in. It is. It is turned to 90 degrees. So like.
Oh.
He's definitely listen. There's no doubt he's a Nazi.
I'm not fully convinced, but you know what? Continue. It's Demoan's story. We'll continue.
But anyway, we see this dude in the monkey suit next after Bolt gets his ice cream and comes into work. He sees this dude in a monkey suit saying hello. And then all of a sudden, Cool Ranch Doritos jumps through the wall and just starts beating Bolt.
Yes.
Commander Capitalism and the monkey guy step in, try to help a little bit.
We're going to call the monkey guy Donkey, but not Kong.
Yep, I like it.
Is that his name, Donkey but not Kong? Like his full name?
Yeah, Donkey but not Kong.
Okay.
But anyway, Donkey but not Kong immediately handled. Not dead, obviously, but immediately handled. Because, big character. Donkey but not Kong.
Yeah.
He's not a big character, but you know what? Maybe he will be one day. Never know. You're right.
People have dreams.
But anyway, Commander Capitalism is fighting, and he's trying to defend Bolt, give Bolt time to run away. And Bolt's like, yo, this dude is strong. He's going to murder you. And all of a sudden, all the backup comes. And they start fighting Cool Ranch Dorito. And Cool Ranch Dorito literally uppercuts this man's head off in one of the panels as they're pulling Bolt away.
Straight up Shoryukens this man.
Right? It's insane.
That's
But anyway,
power of the ranch.
he's just going through basically fighting and killing heroes. We're gonna get a running death. I'm gonna give you the death toll at the end of this issue of how many mans this guy kills.
I could not keep. Oh.
Can I guess? And if I get close, can I win a prize?
Yeah, I say we all guess right now.
All right.
I'm gonna say 17.
I'll say like.
I was gonna say 17.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go 16 then.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna say 20.
All right.
A solid 20.
Cool.
And then you're gonna go with 17, you said?
Nah, I'm gonna go with 18.
Coward.
All right, fine. 2. Final offer.
Okay, you don't have to change.
13.
It doesn't matter. We're continuing. But anyway, he's murdering people left and right. And then all of a sudden, we get one of the Comet twins to come. It's Ed. It's Ed. And the Nazi dude is not having it. So you know what he does? Rips Ed in half.
Freaking pulls a Mortal Kombat. It's just like,
straight up rips him in half.
He lost World War II.
He lost World War II.
He did, yeah.
So obviously, our boy Marshall here, very upset about this. So he hits the Nazi dude in the back, throws him out the wall, and the rest of the heroes follow. But the Nazi man beats him off.
I'm sorry. That was childish. I'm sorry for laughing.
I said it and I stopped and I realized, and I wish I could take it back, but it's too late.
Man, that was.
I shouldn't find this funny.
No. Go ahead.
Continue.
I look caught on that too.
I'm 12.
Mm-hmm. But actually, he throws Marshall off of him, and then we see Knockout running to join the fight. But Knockout, Marshall comes crashing through the wall, and she runs to Big Brain, and she says, "Oh my God, your powers!" So of course, we get a cutaway from that because that's a reveal right now for the rest of the cast, and we're back to the fight. Nazi dude still kicking it.
Hell yes.
Like people are just left and right. Arms are getting crushed. People are just dying. Word. It's not a pretty day for anybody.
Man, the power of the ranch. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
That's right. There's a lot of dust on that one, Yeah.
A lot of dust on this Cool Ranch Dorito.
Mm-hmm. But we immediately get after he's beating a bunch of people, Big Brain comes out in a gigantic, what appears to be psychic explosion. And he explains to everybody that, like, hey, during the war, I stumbled upon a Nazi bunker. I found this thing, and I just kind of forgot about it. Then I remembered it again, and then again I had it, and then even more time after, I had a use for him. You see, Capes got off to a bumpy start. So what he did is he created his own villain. And he didn't tell the other 2 founding members of Capes that they were actually fighting him the whole time.
Yeah.
And of course, he didn't want to raise suspicion, though. So he's like, hey, my powers are fading. When in reality, his powers are getting stronger and stronger. And he's at his most powerful ever. But
Big Boy Brain lied.
Yeah, Big Boy Brain lied. And he has a reason for doing this. And he says, hey, I will do literally anything to save Capes as a company. Even make myself a villain. And he's like, hey, the government won't throw out Capes and stop funding if there's a big villain like me on the loose that Capes can stop.
Honestly, that's dedication.
It's dedication.
That's dedication.
Like this, he's not a hero. He's like a corporate politician, and I think that's the real villain here.
Yes.
Corporate
America.
No. I was actually saying Big Brain is the real villain here. You know, the man controlling the Nazi.
Yeah, that too.
Are you sure? I felt like you really meant corporate.
Listen,
But it's your story, so.
it's my story, and you're
Yeah.
you're definitely right. But listen, obviously this man is unstable, we'll say.
Yeah, he's a little off. He's a little too off.
But after that, he fuses with the Nazi robot, and he becomes this beefy
Nacho
robot man.
cheese. What's another rancho?
No, he becomes
He becomes big boy, Cool Ranch Nazi villain.
Hold up,
Yep.
I'm looking up Dorito flavors right now. I got you. What? Taco flavor? What? Jack Ranch dipped hot Doritos.
That's it. Jack Ranch. He's Jack Ranch dipped hot Doritos. It's over.
Yeah.
Perfect.
His name will be Big Boy Brain with Jack Ranch dip.
Yep,
it's Doritos Jack Ranch dipped hot tortilla chips Doritos.
But anyway, he's like, hey, none of y'all are strong enough to stop me, so don't come after me. I'll kill y'all. Mm-hmm.
Fair.
And he just yeets. He just
flies
away.
That's right. My boy just yeets. Mm-hmm. He flies away, and they have to do a bunch of rebuilding. A bunch of heroes are dead. But, it's a month later, and people are back. Yeah.
How many died?
Oh, I counted 9 deaths. But
we were
probably...
I got close to one of those numbers at some point.
Yeah, but obviously, I'm going to say right now, a lot more than 9 people died because of how big a deal they're making about it in the comic.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, we come back. Bolt is he passes the water cooler. He was apparently on disability, obviously. And his kids took him to Wonderworld, and he's like, "Hey, the kids wore me out. I should get out. I should have taken more time off if I could have." But he's back at work. Commander Capitalism also looking beat up, and he's like, "Hey, we have a meeting. We're going over personnel changes, what's happening going forward," and we meet a bunch of heroes. They're all coming together, discussing what's going to happen, basically.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Marshall. Marshall is putting Ed's ashes up on a bookcase, and he's like, "You think I'm going to put you by a window? Needy bastard." And the comic basically ends with him staring pensively out the window, saying, "I'll miss you."
And he's now the new CEO of Capes.
That's right. I forgot to mention that, which was really the big thing I should have mentioned right away.
Okay. So that was Capes.
That was Capes. That was all 3 issues.
Thoughts, opinions.
I personally really enjoyed Capes.
I thought it was really funny. Like, it was fun.
I thought it was really hilarious. The art was strange at first, but I kind of got used to it.
Yeah,
I didn't like
it. I definitely like the traditional Invincible art better over this.
Yeah, I mean, I get what Mark Englert, it's a more simplified version of Howard Walker's art with exaggerated proportions and stuff in some poses.
Yeah,
and it's kind of jarring at first, but yeah, you do get used to it.
I personally couldn't get over this Dorito advertisement throughout the entirety of this comic. As for the villains, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Bolt's a pretty cool character. Obviously, family man, working guy.
Very funny.
Very funny.
Commander Capitalism exists.
He does exist.
Jesus.
Yeah,
he exists. Kid Thor.
I enjoy Kid Thor and Knockout and their dynamic.
Yeah. Their relationship, I believe, will blossom later in inside stuff and in Invincible. But they're great. I love those two.
They're wonderful.
They're it's they're second to the best couple in Invincible, which we'll reveal later. But
that's right. It's coming.
It's coming, but yeah, Capes was pretty good. It was fun. I mean, some of the writing was a little bit because like when especially like the cuts with the panels, it kind of gets confusing. But
Yeah.
Yes, I
It's
agree.
it's set up very much kind of like like an office sitcom, like Mikey was saying, where it's like a
Yeah.
lot of different parts. So
Yes,
it's like it doesn't necessarily follow one like direct path to get to a point. It goes like
Mhm.
it branches off a lot.
That is
Yeah.
true. Yes, I confirm with that statement.
I would
'Cause
love
I
like
did read this.
I would love like an Office TV show just of this though.
The characters of The Office just fight a supervillain. Yeah.
You know,
I'd
actually,
watch
I
that.
want to see that more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like the regular Office characters fighting a super.
No
Jim and
superpowers.
Pam going up against I don't know,
the Purple Flurp.
Cool Ranch Dorito.
Yeah, purple flurple. Taste the
Um,
flurp.
If we're being honest, I think Dwight could take Cool Ranch.
oh crap!
Dwight is Cool Ranch.
Dwight is cool. but anyway, yeah, Capes was overall better than the last side story we did. So
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely enjoyed this one more than the Rexplode
This one
minis
this
that we
one
read.
was a lot more fun, change of pace.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed.
Very
So,
charming, very unique.
Very very charming.
Yes. Is
Rich,
that
I think that
me?
comments towards you.
You think?
A little bit.
What makes you say that?
Oh no, bro. I mean,
Well, who knows?
who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're done
Should we
with
move
Capes,
on?
we're
Should
going
we
to
move on to Brit?
move on. Yeah. So now we're going to be doing the Brit one shot is written by Robert Kirkman again, and with one of my favorite artists, Tony Moore, who later does the first volume of The Walking Dead, which is like my favorite run of The Walking Dead when it comes to art because it's really cool and really well stylized.
Oh, it's the same art for The Walking Dead?
Yeah, just the first volume though. They changed the artist right after the first volume.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it looked a little familiar.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know the reason for the change, but yeah, but I love his work. He always does. Tony Moore is really good at doing black and white stuff really well. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really good. I like it a lot.
it's really good. So essentially, Brit will be a huge character, like a big character in Invincible in the main story, especially when it involves the Guardians of the Globe. But essentially, according to Christian's comparison, he's essentially a mix of Old Man Logan and Luke Cage.
Yes.
Which is a pretty good
Yes.
description.
Solid description.
Yes, he's got the personality and the look of Old Man Logan and the superpowers of Luke Cage.
Yeah, he doesn't have like super strength per se, but he's just extremely durable. He's like he has bulletproof skin like Luke Cage, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he not have super strength?
I mean, kind of.
In most cases, super durability has to come with super strength because the strain on your muscles otherwise.
I don't remember. Exactly. I don't remember ever there being someone who's durable but not strong. You know, it just kind of goes hand in hand.
He actually makes a comment in the second.
No, there are people who are durable but not strong, but there are almost never people who are strong but not durable.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah.
So essentially, Brit is essentially like a super soldier that works for the Department of Department of Defense for the Pentagon, essentially. And so then it starts with Brit and a character by the name of Donald. Or is
Donald.
I keep calling him Doug, but his name's not Doug. His name's Donald.
Yeah, it's Donald.
Yeah, overhead about to like do a mission, and supposedly there's a town that's involved with all their citizens are mind controlled and they can't stop dancing. They're basically dancing uncontrollably and they're begging for help. So then they're on the helicopter. Donald explains the situation to Brit, and then Brit does the job, does a cool superhero landing, and is basically investigating to see what the problem is. So essentially, he's walking through the town. People are begging because they've been dancing for a very long period of time. uncontrollably.
And it was Justin Timberlake behind all of it.
Yes, it was JT.
Yes. God.
He just had to bring sexy back, didn't he?
And he brought it back.
But then it cuts. So then, what he's trying to see what's the source of this massive dancing outbreak, and turns out it is a villain by the name of Mastermind, who's essentially Bob Marley with mental powers.
So Bob Marley.
Yeah. So it's essentially Bob Marley, and so Brit basically tries to step up to him. He's like, "Oh, really? So you think you can fight me?" And he essentially compiles all of these people into this essentially this mech of just
of
people. He's
human
in the
beings.
center.
Yeah. What I thought about it, that's not structurally sound. Like
isn't.
a human body cannot handle all those humans on top of it.
Yeah.
It would just like squish down.
Yeah, the people in the middle are dead. It's not even a question.
No, the people at the bottom to the middle are dead.
Yeah, especially the ones that are like doing the footsteps.
Yes.
And punching.
And they're like stepping on cars too, crushing them.
Yes.
God. Anyway.
So Bumbleclot Bob Marley essentially makes a huge mech out of these people with his powers. So then Brit's like, essentially, how the hell am I gonna stop this? He essentially threw a car at him and he just threw it back. And then he's like, okay, that's not gonna work. So then essentially what he does is he also I'm assuming he can also jump really far. So with his powers.
No, he's just strong, so he has stronger legs.
Yeah, he has stronger legs, so he does. He basically does a really cool power jump, and then essentially grabs on to Mastermind, aka Bumbleclot Bob Marley, and essentially he realizes that he needs to be conscious in order to control these people. So he just repeatedly, just with beautiful panels, just punches him in the face until he's unconscious.
Yeah, all while hanging from this man's hair the entire time.
Because she has dreads. So like you just see these panels are just transitioning to him just getting like bloody to a pulp.
Yeah. And of course, Mastermind's trying to send the people he's like made into his body to attack him, but they're not doing anything against Brit.
Yeah.
Brit's too durable.
He's too durable.
Yeah.
And they're not doing
He's
any
built
damage.
for tough.
Exactly. So then once he's unconscious, all the people essentially plummet to the ground and they're free from Mastermind's control.
Dead now.
Most of them are dead.
Yeah, a large portion of them are dead.
Low key, all of them are dead.
Yeah.
Not from this, but just in general.
Yeah. So then Brit essentially leaves the area, and then it cuts to Donald doing a status report to a familiar character, which we did in the last episode, Mr. Erickson, who at the time runs the Pentagon right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the conversation they have.
Essentially,
we had to stage a 100 car
accidents.
Yeah, it's just so weird. They all just got out of their car and exploded, and then crashed their cars.
He was like, that was one of the biggest messes Brit has ever made. We had to stage an entire mass car accident.
Yeah, a 100 car pileup when they were told to be discreet.
Yeah. So
that's the opposite of discreet.
Discreet is relative.
Honestly.
Just saying.
But then they're doing the status report, and they walk up to the laboratory where we get introduced to also Dr. Rogers, who
love Dr. Rogers.
Who obviously, if you watched last episode, Erickson and Rogers were a part of the experiments when it comes to how Adam Eve got her abilities, as well as involving with Rexplode as well, when him and Adam Eve meet for the first time. And so he's essentially, Dr. Rogers is dissecting Mastermind as what the government does when there's a superpowered villain that they capture. And basically tells Erickson, asks him, like, what's the progress on your on be able to like block his powers? It's like, yeah, we've analyzed it.
They already know how to block his powers.
Yeah. So yeah, they essentially like they blocked his Yeah, like
They're trying to recreate it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to recreate it. They blocked his powers, and they're just like. But then Rogers is like, here's the thing though. Basically, blocking people's powers is pointless because like our enemies could eventually somehow be able to like block our assets' powers as well.
Yeah,
Which
because
is
they already figured out how to block the powers, so why
yeah,
recreate it?
yeah, why recreate it?
We already know how to beat it, so our enemies can do the same thing.
So then he just essentially gives an alternative and says, why don't we just like, I don't know, dissect Brit because he's like one of our like best assets.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Pentagon, so then
Dr. Rogers has a hard on to open Brit up.
yeah,
Like he's been waiting.
so we
for
can
him.
like figure out how this guy actually ticks because we're unsure. We just know that he's been around for a very long time. He ages, he has a slow age rate, and every time we try to get samples like with needles and stuff, it just breaks off his skin. So like let's just try to like dissect this man and maybe like replicate it so we have an indestructible, like durable army of soldiers. And then Erickson's like, no, he's a valuable asset to this operation.
For
he's
now.
done, he's done good work, and he deserves to be respected for that work.
Yeah, but he's like, but no,
Shut the fuck up.
I swear to God, if you mention this again, you are in fucking trouble, mister. So then he just essentially Erickson leaves, and that's the end of that. Then it transitions to a strip club that Brit, when he's not doing missions for the government, he owns that strip club, and that's where he lives in an apartment above that. And then it basically cuts to him going up the stairs and to his apartment above the strip club, and it opens up with his girlfriend Jessica, who is in her underwear because she misses him.
And she's also a stripper.
And she's also a stripper that works at the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, essentially, they're getting ready to they're getting ready for business. She pushes him on the bed and is just like, Brit, like they have a serious conversation, like while they're ready to have sex. And she's like, Brit, like I want to I want to can you like stop working so we can like settle down and like actually like have like a normal relationship. And then he's like, what do you mean? Like have kids and stuff? I'm not even sure if I can even have kids because of what is
with superpower.
Yeah, because of his powers. Which and she's like, no, not just have kids. I want to like, have a guy to cuddle with once in a while, like most of the time, who's not off doing military missions. And essentially, once that conversation's done, they go at it, they start having sex, and like I love the panels because like it's just a transition of just like the bed springing.
Just squeak, quieter squeaks.
Squeak, but then like in the middle of the massive squeaking, she's like, but wait, what? He's like, but wait, I want you to meet my parents. And he's just like, stops. He's like, what?
Nani?
Which amazing that she had the wherewithal to say, meet my parents while they're having sex.
Yeah.
She couldn't think of a better time for that.
Exactly. It's just bad timing, Jessica.
Yeah.
Then it later transitions to the next day where Brit is at the Pentagon in an underground in a laboratory where they're doing a portal experiment to another dimension. And essentially they're gonna turn this portal on. They've never done it. It's the first trial test. And Brit is basically tasked to essentially whatever tries to come out, make sure that it doesn't actually come out into our dimension. Essentially just stop whatever comes through.
Right, kill it dead.
Yeah, kill it dead.
Yeah. That's control.
Just and
punch it real good.
Punch it real good.
Punch it real good.
So then they turn the portal on and big flash of light and this like monstrosity of a monster just comes out. And then obviously the first thing it does, it just Brit's like, everyone get the fuck move, and just grabs onto Brit. It
tries to chomp down on him.
It tries to bite, like says Demoan, it tries to chomp on him, but then just shatters its teeth.
Yeah.
Because Brit can't be hurt. So then Brit grabs like parts of his teeth and stabs it and like just tearing it up a bit. And then I don't know if he get swallowed. He gets swallowed, or if he just goes into like the open wound or whatever. I think he gets swallowed.
Oh, he creates the wound and then he goes inside of the wound.
He goes inside of it and then just kills it from the side. And then once that happens, he comes out of it. They
Covered
think
in
he's
blood, of course.
covered in
Covered
guts.
in blood.
He really could have
Blood,
done that on the
guts.
outside.
Yeah, covered in
That
guts.
was just a personal choice.
Yeah, no, I think because I think the monster had like really dense skin, so like the best way
No,
to
but
do
yeah,
it was
he went inside, beat up the soft organs rather
yeah,
than
yeah.
Yeah,
And
punching
so
his kidneys and such.
monster's dead. He comes out of the the entrails covered in blood and guts, and he basically just like, guys, can you give me a towel? And so he tries to wipe his face, and then when he wipes his face, he goes to a close up shot of his face, and his nose starts bleeding, and it's just like then they're all just shocked because it's just like I thought he couldn't get hurt. It's like this a sign of like early deteriorate. It's just like a sign of like early deterioration, which is what like of him getting old, which is what like Dr. Rogers like assumed would happen. Is why I wanted to dissect him.
And Dr. Rogers is getting an erection as we speak.
Yeah. So then he essentially is like covers his nose up real quick and is like, it's nothing, just carry on, and then
yeah,
just
it's not
leave.
my blood. He says, "Not my blood."
Yeah, it's not my blood, and just leaves. And then it transitions to Donald on the phone with Erickson, but he's actually at his son's school. His principal, the principal of his son's school, basically called him in to talk about his son. And he's on the phone with Erickson, and essentially he's having an argument with Erickson about like he's freaking bleeding, like Brit bled. Like we thought we wasn't supposed to do that. Like we thought he was like durable as shit and couldn't get hurt. Like it's a sign of deterioration. And then Donald's trying to vouch for Brit, being like, no, he's probably nothing. Like it was. They said it wasn't his blood in the first place. So, and then it cuts to basically just saying, okay, I understand what we need to do. That's what Duck says. Donald says, okay, sir, I understand. It transitions back to the strip club. Jessica's dancing, and Brit's just watching. It's like, man, what a girl this girl is. Isn't she lovely? And and I forget. Isn't she a keeper on that pole? And I forget that the dude that works do you know what the dude that works for him Brit at the club's name?
I was looking for his name. I couldn't find it. Let's call him Chris. He looks like a Chris.
I was thinking Sal, but like
Sal.
I was gonna go with Julio.
Julio?
Clearly not his name. But since we
Let's
don't
go.
know
No. We're gonna call him another Dorito flavor.
No.
Yes, we are.
No. Let's just stick to Sal, please.
No.
I'm gonna call him jalapeno flavored Doritos.
You know what? I'm about it. Jalapeno.
Okay,
His name is Jalapeno.
Jalapeno caliente flavor. So Brit's talking to jalapeno flavor, and he's just talking about how great Jessica is, and how like and then also like jalapeno flavor explains like, are you ready to meet her parents? Which Brit clearly isn't, but it cuts back to the Pentagon, and essentially they're having another conversation about Brit, and essentially how people saw him bleed. This probably is an early sign of deterioration. I mean, because obviously, like, there's not enough that we know about Brit. Because all we know is that he's been around for a while because he has a slow age rate, that he's really strong, and that he's been a valuable asset to the Pentagon. But then
can we step back for a second?
Yeah.
Because we did mention that as soon as Erickson entered, his words were immediately, "Fuck you, I'm late."
Yeah.
Those were his words. He's late for his own meeting, and he says, "Fuck you."
Fuck you, I'm late. But he's the boss, so say they can't argue against that.
They can't argue with him because he will literally have them shot.
Yeah, because as we know from last episode,
power move.
Yeah, as we know from the last episode, Eric does not play no games. He plays no games.
No games.
Yeah. But then but also to move back, Donald says, "Can we do this without killing him? Like, we don't have to like dissect him. There should be other ways to like,
get the powers.
Yeah, get his DNA." But then Rogers is like, "No, we need." He's like, "I'm not a butcher, but like, the only way is
it's
through
not
dissection.
as fun.
It's not as fun, and the only way through this is to do it through dissection." So like, yeah, dissection. and it also says like it's also to benefit the U.S. military, which is a bullshit excuse. But
He just wants an excuse to study Brit. We all know it.
yeah. But then Doug's like, but I can't help the fact that we're wasting many years of usefulness just to have this man dissected. Just out
But
of like,
not for on the off chance they can replicate his powers.
on the off chance that replicate on his powers with like a somewhat sign that he's deteriorating, which we're not sure if that's actually true. So so then essentially Erickson is just like, yeah, we're gonna dissect him. But like make sure but we have to do this one last mission with him first, then we'll dissect him.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta get his mileage out.
Yeah.
So
listen,
then
they're on borrowed time. Might as well make use of it.
Yeah. So then Erickson said like, there's a mission in is it Korea? Or like the Philippines or something?
North or south?
What are you
South.
asking?
Let me look up let me look up another Dorito flavor and we'll call it that type of Korea.
The villain, the dude that the mission that Brit goes on with that super proud guy who like can absorb nukes. I forget where it
Flaming hot lemon.
Flaming hot we'll get there. We'll get there in a second. Just keep going.
So he's like, there's a situation involving a madman who can like absorb nuclear bombs. Brit needs to do that first. After that, he's his government property now. He loses all his rights, and then we dissect him. So then it transitions to Jessica's parents' house. Brit's meeting his parents, and like it basically Jessica and her father are having their own side conversation away from the kitchen, and he's just like, so honey, are you sure this is the guy you're dating? Because like he's
old as fuck.
Looks like he could be like my age, he looks like he could be like my dad. And yeah, he's just like,
and which honestly, he's probably older than this man's dad.
He is.
And he's like, what kind of hell of a name is Brit anyway? And it's like, okay, he's like, Dad, shut up. And then the mom calls them for dinner, so dinner's ready. They all go inside, and then essentially, he's like, so Brit, what do you do at the firm? And he's like, what firm? No, I own a strip club, man. Your daughter's one of my dancers. And then he's like, that's how we met. And he's like, honey, I thought he was your law professor. Are you telling me you freaking wasted all of our money in college and dropped out of college?
She dropped out of law school.
You dropped out of law school to be a damn stripper, and then she's just
my
like,
passion, Dad. I was born to dance.
And he's like, is that true, honey? And Brit's like, yeah, damn right, it's true. She's great.
And I'm so, and apparently like, the mom knew, right? And just not him.
Yeah, I believe the mom knew, but just like the dad didn't know.
Well, at the very least, the mom took it a lot better.
And like,
learn from those kids. Communication is key. Tell your dad that you're a stripper, guys.
Yeah.
That's right. Communication. That way he won't make a big scene in front of your boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah. So then the dad is like, so then she's just like, okay, thanks for putting it all together, Dad. And Dad's like, screw this. Gets up, throws his fork, and just walks out of the dining room. He's just had it.
This fork.
Yeah. And then Brit follows him outside, and it's just like, you think you're being a little bit too hard on your daughter? It's like, excuse me? Like, I mean, granted, she didn't go to law school, and she lied about it. And like,
but yeah, like he has a right to be upset.
But like at the end of the day, your daughter
your daughter's happy. And that should be
your daughter's happy. She loves what she does. I take care of her. So like that's all that should matter. And then essentially, a helicopter comes on. Obviously, this is from they're picking up Brit to do his mission. And then the dad's like, "What do you do again?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I do some like military contracting on the side." And he's like, "Okay, see ya. Tell Jessica I'll see her at home. Bye." So then it cuts to they're in the helicopter for a mission briefing, Brit and Donald, and essentially they put Brit in a huge like nuclear backpack, like a backpack with a nuclear bomb on it, so that essentially I'm assuming it's to like overload this guy with power, if that's the case.
I think it was just an attempt to kill him.
His attempt to kill him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an attempt
an attempt to kill him. So essentially, you're just gonna drop down, fight this guy. This bomb should kill him, maybe, because like it's a bunch of other nukes strapped together, so it's gonna make a hella huge explosion, which should kill him. And then, essentially, and then so Brit drops down. There's an epic superhero landing again. Detonates the freaking nuke, and it's just huge, like a huge splash page of just like a boom, and essentially. And then it just like it cuts to these transition panels of Brit sitting, like the smoke clouds are clearing,
butt
and
ass naked.
he's just sitting down butt ass naked, waiting for this guy to show up. He just says he's sitting there just like, damn,
I'm butt ass naked
yeah.
in whichever Korea with my old man dick out and no one to fight.
I think it's either the Korea or the Philippines. I don't remember. Or Vietnam.
It doesn't even matter at this point.
Yeah.
But, it's actually in Canada.
But essentially, he says damn, and then turns out the guy's not dead. Supposedly he absorbs nuclear energy. And so then they have this massive fight, Brit fighting him obviously butt ass naked.
Like a real man.
Like a real man.
More agile that way.
And I love this panel. Like they're having this huge fight, and they have each page has these transitional panels of this villain literally pummeling Brit, and it just transitions to him like the extent of like the ripple effect of like the impact of his punches. So you just see him just pummeling him, and just to the point where like it goes down 3 pages, and he's like the earth's just shaking because he's hitting him so hard. And then it cuts back to like Brit just standing back up. Just wiping himself off, just like, are you done? While this man's hands are just mangled and broken.
Yeah, he's like brushing off this dude's bone chips because this man was apparently breaking his own hands and not stopping as he was hitting.
Yeah,
which I don't get how you do.
And then he basically finds out that like the more this guy, the more energy, like power he put into his punches, the more energy he exerted. So he's powerless at this point. He's like, so you don't have your powers anymore, I guess. Energy must have ran out. And he just, just snaps this guy's neck. And just
it's the most nonchalant thing too. It's just like, okay, dude, put your hands down. You're done. Let me just do this real quick, and then that's it.
Just like
that's what he did.
Yeah. So then the helicopter touches down, and then Erickson shakes Brit's hand, just says, "Nice work, Rogers." And then Rogers comes out in his wheelchair, just like,
"Get him, boys!
It's that time, boys. About to sex some Brit tonight.
Show me your meat."
And then, but like he doesn't really say anything. But then Brit just obviously just puts it together and just punches Erickson in the face, and then just starts to bolt. He just runs away. And then
my favorite part is the doctor says shoot him when they actively know bullets won't work
on him. They just bounce off.
Yeah.
Bullets just bounce off of him. And then it's just like it just cuts to them back on the helicopter, and then Roger's like shit. And then like Eric's like, what the fuck just happened? He wasn't supposed
to knock the fuck out, son.
Oh, whoa. Oh, he's like, he wasn't supposed to escape. We're the government. We're the Pentagon.
But we're the government. No.
And then
he escapes.
Yeah, he escapes. It transitions back to the strip club. Supposedly, he ran all the way from fucking Philippines to fucking America.
Yeah.
He ran all the way back, and then he's grabbing Jessica. Jessica, like, we need to get the hell out of here. I'm being hunted now because they want to dissect me. So we gotta pack our stuff. We gotta get out, just pack the essentials and whatnot. But like, babe, what are we gonna do about like housing and like money? Babe, I work for the military. We're fucking millionaires.
Yeah, he saved like everything he had.
Yeah, he's like, I literally worked for the military for many years. We're millionaires.
For literal decades.
Yeah.
Good. Our finances
lifetimes, maybe.
Yeah. So then it cuts back to Sal, aka Jalapeno Flavor. And then he essentially is like, Brit, where are you guys going? He's like, what about the strip club? Bro, I already had the deed put in your name. It's yours now. Throws him the keys. And the guy's like, okay, cool. Just nonchalantly.
I mean, yeah. I've been running this shit without you anyway. Might as well.
So he owns Yeah. So then he owns a strip club now. It transitions to Doug getting back into his apartment,
I thought
and
it was Donald.
Donald. I keep saying Doug.
Yeah,
I
But
it's
know you
Donald.
do.
Mm.
he cuts back to Donald going back into his apartment with some groceries, and Brit's already in his apartment in the shadows, lurking, waiting for him to come back. And then he essentially says like, "Sorry about that." And he's like, there really wasn't much I could do. Like it was out of my hands. And he's like, "I know, but like thanks for like letting me know." So if we found out that like he kind of tipped him off that like they
Good
were
old
gonna dissect
Donald.
him anyway.
It's got us back from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Donald's the boy. Donald's a real one.
He's a real one.
Yeah. So he's like, "Here's a burner phone. It's the only way to contact me." And it's just like, I love to chat, but like I gotta be out. So then he jumps out of the his window, says, "Call me," and that is the end of Brit
2003.
2003.
I guess now we could move to Brit. Cold Death.
Yeah.
So
Metal name.
it is a pretty cool name and pretty accurate for the setting.
Yeah.
Very
So yeah. So we cut to a panel with Donald walking around in snow. I'm only assuming it's Alaska because, like, who doesn't go to Alaska when they're on the run?
Yeah.
And
The
he's walking
Simpsons
into
did it.
this. Yeah, exactly. The Simpsons did it, so everyone does it. So he's walking up to this log cabin.
Wait.
What?
Eddie Murphy's in the chat.
All right. Thank you, Eddie Murphy.
Thanks, Eddie
Thank you so
Murphy.
much for
I'm a huge-
taking time off of your
Yeah,
busy
man.
schedule.
I'm
to
like
check
your
your
Truly an
biggest,
honor.
God,
biggest fan. I love Raw and Delirious and like Daddy Day.
I don't think I could. There's so much pressure on me now. Like it's Eddie Murphy.
Christian, it's fun. It's
Don't
Eddie
worry,
Murphy.
you're
Oh,
you're
God.
just blowing it. It's okay.
It's
No.
only it's just the actor who did Coming to America and Beverly Hills Cop.
I
So, like,
know. I was born so close to that McDonald's that was in that movie. He's basically my god.
I'm sorry. It's Christian. It's McDowell's, not McDonald's. Clear
Oh,
distinction.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Oh god, I'm sweating. Anyway,
Oh.
Ronald goes up to this log cabin, knocks the door, and in a white beater, Brit greets his old friend and asks him to come inside. So we see now a pregnant Jessica chillaxing in the corner and is like, "Hey, Rogers, it's been a hot minute." And Rogers is shocked, like, "Oh my
Donald?
god,
Donald?
Donald! I'm sorry, Donald is shocked."
My lord. Why am I the only one that can keep this straight?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
He looks-
Mikey. He's fucking me up.
He looks like a Doug to me.
I mean, I get that, but
Yeah.
he just called him Rogers.
Oh, man, I don't fucking know. But anyway, Donald is shocked. Is like, "Oh my god, Jessica, you're preggers? How's labor gonna work all the way up here in Alaska?" And Brit's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm Brit. I know how to deliver babies." And his
Yeah.
Brit senses started to tingle, and he's like, "Get down into the military design basement in this weird log cabin. There's people here to kill us."
But like, here's the thing, though. They were actually living down there because there's just everything down there that they could possibly need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so nice down there.
It's so
Yeah.
big. and just
It's so
state-of-the-art.
much better than the top part.
Like there's just explosions and stuff, and they're just chilling, being like,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you want something to drink?"
I mean, might as well. But anyway, Britt leaves the log cabin, and would you know it, Erickson and Dr. Rogers in full high-tech military gear. Erickson in just weird mech suit thing with an obnoxiously large gun at Britt's front door, being like, "Hey, square up. I want your blood and your bones so we can make more fancy schmancy military people." And
Mhm.
Britt's like, maybe you shouldn't do that.
And then like,
'Cause, you know,
and then like Dr. Rogers on the side, like, "Oh yeah," it's like just going out, just like so turned on by this.
oh, yeah, I can't wait to kill this guy. Oh, yeah. And then Britt's all like, "So, what are the odds that this is actually a trap
My
that I set up
plan.
for you guys? And they're like, impossible.
We're the government.
Yeah, we're the government.
Bam! It was a trap.
Yep. And then he radios to Jessica saying, "Hun, can you turn on the motion sensors?" And boom, motion sensors. Epic fight ensues, and Eric screams, "Attack!" And huge epic fight scene happening. It cuts to Eric and Jessica, as you guys said, just chillaxing in the basement. Donald is like,
Oh
huh,
no, poor thing.
yeah, this a lot of loud stuff happening.
Yeah.
And then Jessica's like, "You want a drink or something?" And then it cuts back to intense battle scene with Brit nonchalantly taking lasers to the face. He jumps up, he tackles this flying vehicle thing, and he just talks to the pilot, rips him out of the plane that he's in, and crashes it on the ground.
Right into Erickson.
Right into Erickson.
But here's the thing that I like. He literally just like, my durability can only do so much because like obviously he's not like hella super strong. So,
yeah. So he's kind of just chillaxing on top there, waiting for his opportunity. And then he does the same thing with Dr. Rogers, plops on top of it, and then another boom explosion happens. That explosion that was left melted all the snow, destroyed his log cabin, and all that was left was this metal plate base looking thing. And he's just sitting there, butt ass naked, as he does, and he's just like, would you look at that?
Because like I thought that like the explosion like yeeted him to like another state at first.
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't be surprised. Like the entire environment was completely destroyed. It looks like this
listen, I
brand new
think the
place.
explosion actually did eat him to another state. Another state of mind. He's now at peace.
He's transcended.
That's
Also,
right.
Eddie Murphy, you better reveal yourself because I'm so curious on who this person is.
What do you mean? It's Eddie Murphy. It's right there. He has the profile pic and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Jessica and Donald emerge in full hazmat suits and ask if Brit's okay. And he says, "Well, of course. I'm motherfucking Brit." And then a helicopter comes down and Donald offers them a ride back. And Brit's like, "Oh, what the hell? Why not? My house is just destroyed." And, the people were trying to kill
me. He was up there anyway. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Now.
Yeah, and the only person that was, hunting me down, I murdered them. So why the hell not? And they left on a helicopter.
But my as they were leaving though, he's like he was down to his last $1 million apparently. Because all of it was expensive.
Oh,
so, like,
yeah.
In fact, I want to know how much money he actually had.
$2 million.
$2 million.
Yes, all that high tech machinery and
only
the living rate
just under $1 million.
Yeah, food, water, power, all that. Yeah, just $1 million. And as they were leaving, a rumbling starts to happen at the location that they were just at, and trees start to knock down. Then we're at the U.S. State's Pentagon, and I forgot this guy's name. He's the current director.
Cecil Stegman.
Cecil's the boy.
Cecil the boy. The guy with the fucked up face.
Listen, for our viewers, Cecil will be in the main story, and he's like a really
integral
character.
Like the story, like there are points where the story does not move forward without him.
Like I was so shocked to find out that this is actually where he gets introduced. I was so shocked.
Yeah.
Because if you don't read the other side stories, he just shows up in the main story and like out of nowhere. So,
but here he's like, oh, we get background for him now.
Yeah, just his Erickson's placement.
Yep. So yeah, now he's taking up Erickson's mantle, and Donald's describing what happened and explaining that Brit's back on his side now, and God, I keep on forgetting this guy's name. Donald. No, not Donald. The other guy. What?
Freaking Eddie Murphy, yo.
Dr. Doolittle.
I'm Dr. God.
Thank you so much, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie, man. See that humor. Still got it, bro.
That's right.
Just love him so goddamn much.
Yeah, my
Truly,
idol.
truly a gift.
All right. Continue.
Anyway, yeah. Back to it. It cuts to Brit and Jessica's dad over a grill, doing man stuff.
That's right. Bonding like the boys. What's up?
The boys. Yeah.
They're cool now.
Yeah. And they're cool now. Yeah. And the house that they're currently at, Brit bought for his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're
just has his blessing. Just has his blessing because this motherfucker bought me a house.
Yeah, exactly. That's
house. I couldn't even afford.
And they're just making burgers, having nice little chit chat and catching up.
Brit is honestly so rich. I don't know. I know how, but I don't know how.
It's because he's so indestructible. Taxes can't take him down.
Yeah,
that's right. The IRS tried to come for him, and he just said no.
What can they do?
The IRS can stop Blade, but they can't stop Brit.
Exactly. After that conversation, it cuts back to the Alaskan scene, and it seems like there's something leaving the ground as before. And back to the principal. Remember how Donald was talking? Yeah,
this is Mark's school, right? This is Mark's school.
Yeah, I think this is Mark's school. Yeah, because it's the same principal. Yeah. And again, they're talking about their kids. His ex-wife was supposed to be there, but she got stuck up with something, a convention. And in the middle of the meeting, Donald has a phone call, and he tells the principal to hold that thought, and a helicopter comes by and picks him up. And the principal's like,
Donald's kid is a trouble child, though. He's at that school so much, it seems.
Yeah. I wonder if his kid's in the main story, though. I'm curious.
Probably. He's probably a side character or something.
I honestly don't remember, but
I don't remember.
Get there.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And back to the Pentagon. Donald and Brit are having a meeting, and Donald's like, "Hey, about your ex-wife, we got a mission for you." And then Brit's like, "Oh no, my ex-wife." And now we're at this laboratory looking thing. It kind of looks like an
it looks like a supervillain. It looks like a supervillain laboratory.
Exactly.
Exactly what it is.
Supervillain laboratory. And Brit's ex-wife and I'm assuming new husband are working on this creature-looking thing that's just covered in dots and it looks like it's radiating energy. And it's revealed that this creature is their son. And the ex-wife is distraught, trying desperately to save this child's life. Then Brit comes through the roof, punching his way, and does classic superhero landing. Ex-wife is like, "What the hell are you doing here, you son of a bitch?" And Brit's like, "Listen, you got to stop what you're doing. This is going to kill people." And the scientist, who seems to be the ex-wife's new husband, says, "You think we haven't tried any other things? There's nothing else works. This is all that we have left, you jerk."
It's a fair thing. Like, they're just trying to save their son. Like,
No, yeah, but they're also endangering the world, which is why Brit's there.
Yeah. So now Brit's in a difficult situation. He could either let them risk the world and have them try to save their son.
And maybe save their son.
Yeah. Or kill them. Kill his ex-wife.
Well, not necessarily kill them, but definitely stop them.
Yeah,
but
definitely
the way Brit operates is death most of the time.
But like subdue them pretty much.
Exactly.
He actually cares about his ex-wife.
Yeah, but
in some degree.
Yeah. His ex-wife, being salty, makes the decision for you and tries to kill Brit. And
bitch slap.
An aggressive bitch slap ensues. He did not even move.
His wife is like Deathstrike in X-Men. Like, she has like long claws in her hands, essentially.
And she can retract as she sees fit.
Yeah. And the husband has multiplication powers, but every time he multiplies, it just becomes smaller and smaller versions of himself.
I assume,
And the-
I assume, I assume the amount of matter in him is always the same, so he just splits himself off like that.
Probably. That makes sense. And these little guys start to crawl on Brit, and Brit nonchalantly is just like, "Hey, please stop doing that. Stop crawling all over me." One of them's picking his nose, which is fun. And he's just like, "All right, screw this." And he just bites the head off of one of them. And they all just start falling off. And let's assume that they're dead.
They're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah.
He was
I- it's 'cause
successful.
Killing, I guess, apparently, which is a terrible power. Killing one
Yeah.
kills them all.
Yeah. And since the husband is out of the commission because he's dead, the military is able to come in and subdue them. And Brit's like, "Oh fuck, this really fucked me up." And Donald's like, "Are you okay?" And he's just like, "I just want to be alone." And then cut back again for the third time to the Alaskan scene, and a giant foot pops out. People with foot fetishes, you're welcome. And it's revealed that this Yeti-looking creature, with hair all over his body, emerges from the ground, and he was awakened, and he's gonna start wreaking havoc among the people.
And he's like
Yeah.
giant. He's like really huge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fucking huge.
He's huge.
Yeah, and then we go back
Huge.
to the strip club, and it's your boy. Which Doritos is this guy again?
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno. Jalapeno Doritos.
What is his name though?
I
doesn't have
don't
one.
know.
I don't think he has. I legitimately don't think he has one.
He has to have one.
He doesn't have to though, because he doesn't do anything. He runs a strip club that Brit has already left.
Yeah, that's true. Britt and Jessica come back to visit Jalapeno Doritos to check up on the club, and then they're just catching up on things. And he offers Britt a drink, and then cuts to a news report. There's chaos happening down in town, and Britt's like, "All right, I got to take care of that."
Oh,
Military.
also,
Yeah.
all right. Cut to rewind. Jessica reveals to Jalapeno Flavor that her and Britt are actually married now.
Yes.
They
They're
got
married now.
Yeah.
And all the other girls who knew her from before are so happy, and it's just
She
wonderful
fucking
to go back.
She finally fucking did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the problem happening. Donald is in a mech suit and with Brit in a helicopter, ready to fight this whatever creature. Oh god, and the whole military is backing them up, and Brit has this device on his back to help end this guy. He lands on top of this creature's head, just grabbing onto stranules, and the creature's just like, "Hey, look at this brave little guy. Get off of me." And then he tries to squish him, and he fails, and he looks down at his hand, and he's just like, "Huh,
Why
well
aren't you
then,
squished?
why you no squishy?" And he's like, "Well, let me try throw you on ground." He lifts him up and throws him on the ground.
Oh no,
Still
we have to say Brit. He did listen to Brit after he failed to crush him, and Brit's like, "Hey, leave this city or I'm gonna kick your ass." And this thing's like, "Ha, we'll see." And then he throws him on the ground.
Yeah. Then he throws him on the ground and just starts punching and kicking, and he just leaves him. And oh boy, an ad.
My favorite part though about when he leaves is apparently this thing is a native English speaker.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it spoke good English. I wonder who taught him.
That's actually a really good ass question. Who found the time to teach this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the better question is, why is this thing's native language English?
But remember in the introduction when we met Alan, of course everyone speaks English.
No,
course.
Here's the thing. I give a pass to aliens though, because I feel like they have translation technology.
Yeah, but it could only translate to English.
Exactly. Because
Yes.
they can't figure out any other language.
Yes, all the other languages are just way too complicated.
So it's
Right.
a language translator that just has one language.
Yeah,
No, you see, no. It translates every language, but only into English.
Jesus Christ.
But it can't go the other way back. So you can't translate English to any other language, though. They're fucked.
Jesus Christ. English is the dominating language
Of the universe, apparently.
Apparently,
language of
Invincible,
the
yeah.
universe.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, but back to the story. The creature stomps on him and leaves and forgets all about him and continues to wreak havoc on the area. Brit, following him close behind him, runs into a parking lot to get a little bit of elevation and then throws a car at this creature's eye. And
I want to go backtrack for a little bit here. Brit actively said before in this story he wishes he had super strength too.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he threw this car.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? And then
does this not qualify as super strength, being able to throw a car?
What, you can't? No, he's just regular strong.
Oh, I kind of see what happened now.
Yeah.
He didn't throw the car. It seems like he rode the car onto him because I see his body there.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so that's my mistake then.
Yeah, he went through the window. Oh, that's my mistake also.
I don't know how I didn't realize that before.
Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of hard to see because there's just a lot of debris.
Yeah, it's black and white, a lot of debris.
Yeah. When Brick drives the car into this monster's face, he hangs on to this monster's eyelashes and punches him straight in the eye, which looked incredibly painful. And the monster flings Brit right off of him.
Right into his motorcycle.
Yep, right into a motorcycle, which is perfect. All according to Brit's plan.
Kind of.
Brit leads the monster to this train. The monster picks up said train and is about to throw it at Brit. And then he says, activate. And the machine that was on his back is activated. And turns out it was a laser. And he shoots right into the monster's chest. And it seems as though that the gun didn't do anything. And he's just like, use your missiles. And then the monster flings the train and it hits the helicopter that Donald was in. And Brit, distraught, screams, Donald!
Donald!
And a wave of missiles come down, hitting the monster. And all that was left is his legs and just debris falling down. And Brit is just sad. And looking at the charred remains of the helicopter, he looks down and then he looks back up and he sees Donald. And Donald comes out of the mess. Half of his face is destroyed and all his innards are robotics.
So cyborg.
Yeah, turns out Donald was a cyborg
the entire time.
Android. Yes, you're right. Android. Yeah, and Brit's like,
he doesn't have any organic parts, so
yeah. So Brit's like, you're an android? And Donald's like, apparently so. Turns out he had no idea. Cut to the future.
Oh, government.
The baby was born. Jessica gave.
Yay!
She finally popped.
Yeah.
Finally popped.
Yeah, finally popped. Everyone's there, including now recovered Donald. And Jessica's deciding to name the baby Brittany. And Donald's like, Brittany? Isn't that a girl's name? Even though the baby's a boy? And then everyone's shocked. It is revealed the name is Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
And then Donald's like, "Oh, whoops."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Brit's like, my parents didn't think so either.
Yeah. So ends Brit cold whatever.
Cold death?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't read any of these.
I'm sorry. What? You said you didn't read capes.
I didn't read any of these.
But you were so excited to talk about Brit. I thought you read at least Brit.
Yeah, I did read a little bit of Brit, but I didn't read
Oh,
anything today
Oh my
or
god.
yesterday.
You said it, but you said it with such confidence too. You lied.
I'm so impressed.
Oh my
Considering
god.
that, then
That's crazy. Okay. Well,
that's
that
insane.
Yeah.
yeah, so well that was Brit and Brit Cold Death. So thoughts, opinions, comments, concerns.
I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy. I didn't know there was going to be a star here. I would have prepared
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have done a better job if we knew Eddie Murphy.
Also, I don't think
Yeah.
we're ready for Shrek 5.
No.
Don't
Shrek.
talk for me. I'm
Was there
ready.
already a Shrek 5?
Yeah.
No.
Not
Let me
yet.
actually look this up.
It's coming. It's coming. But
While
while we look that up, thoughts, concerns. I really enjoyed Brit. Both of them. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah, Shrek 5 didn't come out yet.
Yeah, it's not out yet. No, yeah, I enjoyed Brit. I enjoyed Brit Cold Death too. I think Brit was better. I think
Brit was better.
Definitely better. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
And also like just Tony Moore's art is like fits the style of Brit, especially since it's black and white.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
the art was beautiful.
Yeah. He knows how to do violence, which is why like
Yeah, this art
Mhm.
was definitely less jarring than the Capes art.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And especially better than Adam Even Rexplode. So
Oh yeah,
That
I
is
think
very
we could agree that both of these comics are just better. Any comics are better than Adam and Eve and Rex.
Rex were a little rough to get through.
yeah.
They
But
really were.
yeah, I thought it was good. Brit's a really cool character. We will be doing one shots in the future as well as like a little bit of like his miniseries that happens in later on to get more of Brit's backstory. But
Mm.
yeah, he'll be really important in Invincible. He's like one of like the coolest characters in Invincible.
Oh, he really is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
So
like that grandpa that you always wanted but never had.
he's essentially like I just thought he's essentially just like in the Invincible universe's Captain America, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Who has no problem with killing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
All part of
But,
the job.
Really has no problem with killing.
Yeah, no problem with killing.
Yeah.
A 100 car pileup.
It was an accident.
Yeah, I literally can't wait until we eventually do like Guarding the Globe where when he gets involved with the Guardians of the Globe. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be but that was episode 3, Capes and Brit.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for
you guys. Out of curiosity, which guys did you guys like better between Capes and the Brit?
I liked the first Brit.
I'm gonna be honest. When I first pretended to read it, I liked Brit a lot more than Capes. But after like, you guys reading it to me, I think I like Capes more.
Really?
I think
it's so much more charming.
Honestly,
it's really charming with how the
yeah, I like honestly I like them both, but it's like because obviously Capes is more charming and more like comedic, while like Brit is like more of like a super soldier type story, but like a little bit of humor,
like gritty story. I like that.
Yeah, it's like gritty with like a little bit of sprinkled humor mixed in, which I liked. Yeah, Kirkman. I mean, these are good Kirkman side stories when we want to like connect with Invincible. So
yeah, Kirkman does good writing for his own stuff.
I'd give Capes like a 9 out of 10, and
I'm sorry, a what?
A 9. Oh, sorry.
No, wrong.
Do you mean a 6.3 out of 7?
Yeah, 6.3 out of 7. And
is that the right math?
Yeah, it actually is. I memorized all the conversions for 1 to 10 to 7 scale.
I would give like so like Capes is a 6.3. I'd give Brit a 6, like a straight 6.
Straight 6, okay.
Yeah. And then Brit Cold Death, I'd give
like Mikey, convert it back to the 10 scale for the people who aren't familiar.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I think that's gonna be about an 8. That's gonna be about an 8.5.
Yeah. For Brit, and then for Brit Cold Death, I'd give like a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. That's gonna be about like a 5.4 roughly.
Yeah. Okay. Solid. So
I like that.
Any favorite characters like that you would like love to see later on?
So
far that
obviously, well, we're gonna see Brit more, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna see Cecil
really
again.
excited for Brit. Yeah.
We're gonna see Cecil again.
Of
Donald.
course.
I want Donald to come back.
He's gonna come back a lot because he's Cecil's right hand man. So
jalapeno Doritos.
No.
Yes.
I don't think we see him again.
Why
Jalapeno
not?
should come back. Yeah.
Like also like fun fact, when I read Invincible with Cecil's voice, I always read Cecil's voice as Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, that's how it should be read. There's no other way.
That's fair.
But yeah, that was episode 3. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. We want to say thank you for the audience participation, especially
Eddie Murphy.
Thank you
Eddie
so
Murphy,
much.
Dan, Taylor. I posted the first comment. You know, rolling.
But yeah, so we are now done-ish.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Hold on, not yet.
Oh, my bad. I thought when you said we're out, I thought we were done.
No, I said we're done. No, I said
this is still the outro, Christian.
Yeah, calm down.
I'm tired.
Okay, I said that we're done doing side stuff for now. We're gonna go back to the main story, doing the Perfect Strangers arc for episode 4, and yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited to we're probably gonna do a recap, like a quick recap before when the episode starts, so like get one familiar. Or if not, you can also watch the first episode that we did, years ago.
No, it's not even a year. You should say months.
Yeah, months.
It was an
Just
exaggeration.
say 2019. Just say 2019.
It was an
exaggeration. True, and it sounds like an exaggeration.
It was an No, it was purposely an exaggeration. But yeah, anyway, look out for episode 4. Probably gonna do that pretty soon because we want to keeping this consistent. And,
can I bet?
Now we have a lot more time because of quarantine.
Yeah.
I think our plan is we're going to do the entire Invincible series before the end of May. I'm lying.
Yeah. Well, what we got is we're going to pick it up again in a month and a half, and we're never going to talk to each other ever again.
I doubt that. Okay.
Yeah. I think that time Christian's actually wrong, but you know,
you don't think? Okay.
So let's see.
Right. I want to get this rolling because I checked the spreadsheet. There's a lot of stuff that's dope. That's gonna be coming. So yeah. So look out for episode 4. Hopefully we can maybe do that tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, also look out for we're gonna have another podcast coming up involving Saga. So
do we know you?
Yeah. Who are you?
Have we met?
Eddie Murphy is our personal friend, and the fact that you guys forgot that is insulting.
Dude,
I'm so sorry, Eddie. It was at that one party with that guy.
Yes.
Did that thing, right?
Other people with the
yeah, and there was that one chick.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy. I forgot.
Sorry, yeah. But anyway, so we're probably gonna expand the indie corner, do some more independent books. We're gonna probably do Saga is the next one, as well as continuing with Invincible. And yeah, man. Guys, thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
As always, we appreciate the viewership.
Exactly.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Sanitize your hands. Listen to Donald Glover's new album if you haven't, you heathens. Watch Tiger King. The end.
Don't lick things.
Get home safe, everybody.
Don't lick things
that you don't trust.
Get home safe.
Get home safe.